the Paper Thing with me, the Broken Ball Boy, here on Twitch. Today's episode is going to be replete with football coverage, or soccer if you are American and insist on mangling the name of the sport. Of course, tonight at 5 p.m, Germany and England are playing in the European Championship, and I will be in a school governing board meeting because that's my commitment to my job. That's how I roll. But I will be having a tiny window with the football up in one corner of my screen. But nonetheless, we're going to look at a load of tabloid fuckery about this game. And every time someone mentions the war, I'm going to drink. No, I'm not, because I would die. Anyway, we're going to start with the Sun, the worst offender today. Good afternoon, Slinkermeyer, token German on the stream. I'm sure there are other Germans. To be honest, I want England to win just from a natural, just because I'm English, but in a sense, I wouldn't be surprised if the Germans won, and quite like Germans. C122, H122 says, I'm Irish. Yes, person in the room is also Irish. Mostly. Northern Irish, exactly. Hello, Bad Motivator. How are you doing? Good to see you. Or should I say, valued subscriber, Bad Motivator. Right, so we're going to start with the Sun. Then we're going to move on to a speed run through the Mirror, because the Mirror is, I'm afraid to say, pretty boring. If you haven't seen today's newsletter, it's all about the history of bizarre, appalling tabloid coverage of England-Germany matches. I think it's pretty good, and there's a very good quote from the ever-excellent Jurgen Klinsmann in it, who will be probably the only good pundit tonight. Good afternoon, Mark Kenosis. After and indeed noon to you. Right, so let's get started with the Sun, then we'll be on to the Mirror for the speed run, then the Times, then the Daily Mail. We all know how it works by now. Right, so front page of the Sun. Mistress Gina leaves hobby. This is Harry Bunter Cole with a typically fuck-witted story, which he claims is an exclusive. I think we already knew this was happening, so I'm not quite sure how he thinks it's an exclusive. On the top right, we've got the first of this year's horrible Love Island stories. Chloe's the Villa villain. That gets 2 pages. And the main story, of course, is England versus Germany, with the Sun referencing its own scoop about Matt Hancock with, come on, Harry, even Hancock scored. The picture of Harry Kane is quite unbearable. C122, H122, Germany don't care, only England do. Yes, that's the point. Again, if you read the newsletter today, you'll find out loads of stuff about that. Particularly the interesting thing, I think, is that in 1996, the thing that mattered for the Germans was that it was the first tournament that they were playing in as a unified team with players from the East and West, and winning that tournament mattered a great deal to them. The defeat of England was at best a footnote. Dan Jones 3142 says, spare us a quarter-final and a fabricated rivalry with Sweden or Ukraine. Yeah. Okay, inside the paper on pages 2 and 3, millions taking early cut for game. 45,000 fans will be at Wembley. They're calling it Bunk Off Tuesday. On pages 4 and 5, we get the traditional picture of the 1966 team, and Tony Parsons, who is one of those, really overplays the fact that he's a football fan. People writes, stuffed die Mannschaft right up the Wembley way, just like in 66, and they have to have an asterisk to explain to Sun readers that Die Mannschaft is the name Germans give to their national football team, because despite obsessing over this so-called rivalry, the Germans don't consider England to be even remotely one of their major rivals. English people don't know a lot about the German team. Peter Teed, the chief reporter politics at Bild, the German tabloid, says, Wembley is our living room, so we are coming home. On page 7, there's Harry Cole's pathetic exclusive about Gina Coladangelo leaving her husband for Matt Hancock. Now, you know, the husband is sort of one of those generic posh men, but why would you leave this husband for Matt Hancock? It seems bizarre to me. Gina and Matt are giving it a proper go, is what a source has told Harry Cole. On pages 8 and 9, new health minister upbeat over recovery. Let's jav it. They're very happy with Sajid Javid, and it's almost like the Murdoch press was primed for a new health secretary that they would say nice things about. Curious, that, isn't it? Where are my glasses? I'm trying to find my glasses.
I don't know.
Oh, that's... here they are. Where are my glasses, I said? They're in the case. The only answer is that rich people are weird perverts, says Teo writes. This seems like a good hypothesis to me. Moving...
Alright, okay, sorry.
Law.
I was just gonna get out of the way.
I know, but just stop. Person in the room is just moving heavy things about and making a load of noise because she wishes to punish me for something, I don't know what. A massive picture frame was delivered, but it's dented. There you go. There's an inside track on what's going on in this house. On page 11, Ewan McGregor has had a son with his new partner, Elizabeth Winstead, who is 36 and he is 50. Labour has been slammed for a religious hate leaflet. That's how the Sun frames that really awful Labour leaflet, which includes a picture of Boris Johnson and Narendra Modi. They write an open letter to Sajid Javid saying, throw off the shackles, Saj. Right. Prince Harry has been seen in his first official appearance since landing in the UK last week in a pre-recorded speech seemingly filmed at his California mansion. Who cares? Page 13... Ryan Clark Neal has apparently blamed the breakdown of his 6-year marriage on his own mistakes. Again, the Sun frames that as an exclusive. You thought Hugh Grant was older than that? Why are we talking about Hugh Grant? Mark Kenosis leaflet isn't even that bad. It's just massively cynical and hypocritical. Yeah, exactly. Their Love Island... coverage says 2 Chloes for comfort, day 1 on Love Island, and sexy man-eater is already playing games. Guess what? It's how it's edited by the producers. So they will have decided she's going to be the villain. Adrian Chiles, the dunder-headed, turnip-headed soft boy of the tabloids, writes, hope and dreams, horror and tears, the story of my life. He's talking about the Germany-England game, but I think, you know, that could be applied to his entire life. He writes about Matt Hancock. I make no comment on the Matt Hancock affair, he says, writing in a newspaper column. Other than this, so that is a comment. While she undoubtedly looks a bit of a plum in the photos, while he undoubtedly looks a bit of a plum in the photos, I wonder if it's ever possible for us to look anything other than plums when we're snogging. I certainly wouldn't care to catch sight of myself doing it, nor would anyone else. Keep your and Kath Viner's activities private. That's what I say. Ridozy666 says, can I get an... I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to read that out. Tara Wright says, lol, the sexy voice she put on was so funny. Afternoon chums. Good afternoon to you, Julie Prunes. Good to see you. Tara Wright says, hi, camp. Moving on. There's a picture of Zendaya looking pretty good. Apparently she is wearing the purple dress in tribute to Beyonce, wearing a similar outfit at the BET Awards. As far like they're quite different dresses. The Zendaya dress is long and flowing, and the Beyonce dress is short. But okay. Slain Brit, I wanted to blow head off her killer, said her grieving dad. I don't think that it is very responsible for the Sun to publish that kind of stuff, but you know they won't stop it. Tara Wright says the BET Awards were awful apart from a few exceptions like Lil Nas X. I haven't seen Lil Nas X's outfit. What was it? Page 21, a film fan is hiring out his Ghostbusters car to act as a hearse. Paul Harborn spent 2 years and £50,000 renovating a Cadillac Miller Meteor like the one in the cult movie. From buying the motor on eBay, he painted it white for weddings. But he then added a Ghostbusters logo and ghoul-catching gear after a call about funerals. The dad of 5, business partner Tim Jordan now hire out the Ecto-1 replica for £360 an hour to transport coffins. Oh, he wore a very cool big dress. Oh, excellent. In Bazaar... I'll do a movie. Singer Eyes acting as European tour put on ice. Dua Lipa going into acting, possibly. On page 25, London rail explosion. Fire hero cop. PC saves kids in station blast. A woman who created a green holiday let is suing the fish and chip restaurant next door, which she said ruined her plans with its nauseating smells. Diana Ray said the overpowering odour made it impossible to rent the 4-bed cottage. She wants £40,000 compensation and a High Court injunction to stop the chippy reopening in Burton-on-the-Water in the Cotswolds. If the fish and chip shop was there first, she should get fucked. On page 27, Dame set and match. There was a standing ovation for Professor Dame Sarah Gilbert, one of the people who developed the Oxford AstraZeneca jab. On page 28, rags to riches for a wrestler turned actor. So broke I slept in my car. Now I'm a big screen hit, says John Cena. Ollie killers plotted attack on Snapchat. 2 boys accused of killing a lad of 13 had earlier recorded videos brandishing blades and threatening to stab him, a court heard yesterday. This typical Sun thing, right? They're making it about Snapchat because it's about scary world of social media. It's a weirdly, it's a very distorted way of doing it. Mark Knos has never known a chippy to have a nauseating smell. Me neither. On the front page of the goals thing, Unite and Mighty, keepers heroics after 50-yard own goal howler. Spain's manager Luis Enrique hailed blunder keeper Unai Simon as he went from villain to hero to book a quarter-final spot. Spain 5, Croatia 3. Of course, the big game last night was France getting knocked out by the Swiss. Julia Bradbury has hit back at trolls after bikini snaps, apparently. Has she? Right, moving on. I don't care about that. The TV picks, they review last night's countdown, saying it was sort of fine with the new host, Anne Robinson. In Dear Deirdre's casebook, day 2 of Naomi's mixed emotions. Naomi's emotions remain mixed. In Fab Daily, trolls told me I should be ashamed of stretch marks, says ex-EastEnders star Melissa Suffield on being shamed for her post-birth body. Very big on trolls being hit back at today in the Sun. Go on the Swiss. In the Batch Lady column, which is about a woman who batch cooked food, she recommends cheesy chorizo and pepper pasta sauce and creamy Cajun pasta. I've got to be honest, they both look like dog sick. Right, page in the letters, the £50 letter comes from Leslie Evans, who writes, "The appointment of Sajid Javid as Health Secretary in the place of the incompetent and morally bankrupt Matt Hancock is welcome news. Hancock's affair and breaking his own COVID restrictions insulted every one of us, but most of all to the bereaved families who are not allowed to be with their loved ones at the end. It is to be hoped that Javid succeeds, where Hancock failed miserably, not only in terms of his ethics and honesty, but with the courage to tell doommongers wanting eternal lockdown where to get off." See, that letter, on the one hand, emotional bullshit about the families of the bereaved, and on the other hand, the bereaved families, and on the other hand, some old crap about escaping eternal lockdown. Having it both ways there. Some really ugly trousers. Get not one, but 2 pairs of fabulous trousers to make you look like the most boring man in the estate agents. They managed somehow in the city pages to feature people in bikinis. What's that? They're trying to sell you a special England Subbuteo set and a model Wembley Stadium, yours for £20. And in the sport, of course, we get some jingoistic horse shit. England versus Germany, for Gaza, for Sir Bobby, for Psycho and Chrissy Waddle, for Frank, for Eltel, for the fans, and for Gareth. Of course, Gareth Southgate saying, no, look, let's ignore all that stuff and just play a game of football. Right, give me your scores for the Sun. For me, it's, a minus 69, a classic negative nice. Cinco de Mayo, they look exactly the same as every other pair of trousers they try to sell. Yep, they know their audience. Mark Canosa says, imagine going to someone's house for dinner and they're in the kitchen following a recipe from the Sun. This is a worry. Cinco de Mayo comes in with the classic negative nice, as done C122, H122. Mark Canosa continues the Sun Sports page by adding, for the glorious war dead. Jane Pickering in there with the classic Jane Pickering 0. Good to see you, Jane. Okay, now, we're going to move on to the Mirror and today's speed run. I reckon I can get through the Mirror in 2.5 minutes. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon so. It's fucking empty.
Yeah. Okay, so Mark Canosa says minus 5-0 to Germany is the score for the Sun. Dan Jones 3142 says for Stuart Downing, for Stephen Warnock, for Darius Vassell. C122, H122, 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup. Yes, yeah. There's already a load of the maniacs on Twitter doing the 10 German bombers shit. It's tedious as hell. Right, okay, here we go. The Daily Mirror in 2 minutes 30. Hey, Google, set timer for 2 minutes 30.
All right, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Starting now.
Well, the front page, of course, has England on it. A night made for heroes. Millions watching at home, packed pubs, and a nation holding its breath. Give it a rest, lads. Inside, on page 3, there isn't page 3 in here, a lot of love. NHS heroes or Wimbledon aces. Their coverage of the what's going on with the team. Don't mention the draw is the headline they go with. England fans gear up for Germany clash and pray it doesn't go to penalties. Prince William has been to the Iron Brew factory in his continued attempt to save the Union. Costa Palava is the thing that as their headline on continuing holiday restrictions. Amanda Holden is wearing a bikini for no good reason. Peter, Pride of the Mirror, unfortunately, sad news as one of the senior journalists at the Mirror has died. He was only 54. Richard Burton and Auntie Hopkins were from my town. That showed me what was possible, says Michael Sheen in an interview. A lorry driver is cooking up gourmet meals in a kitchen he's made in his cab. My boy's heart could stop any time. We always check where to find a defibrillator, says a woman. It's no joke, we lost 39 stone with Comic Jason. How TV star helped fans shed pounds. In the diary, more stuff about Love Island. They've got coverage of that fire at Elephant and Castle. Anne Robinson's first time on Countdown gets a decent review. There's a 12-page bumper puzzle segment. In the health section, my cancer caused me so much anxiety, but I just made jokes about it. They're on their Let's Do This Together pages that someone's done a fairly decent portrait of Ian McKellen for some reason. They're trying to sell a chain of command. Weird necklace. Why? Yours for, I don't know how much, but too much. Today's TV, they recommend 999 What's Your Emergency? In the letters, they're all annoyed about Matt Hancock, unsurprisingly. Greggs is doing well. And in the sport, We Can Be Heroes Forever and Ever, a reference, of course, to Heroes by David Bowie, which was recorded in Berlin and is, not a jingoistic song at all. But there we go. So that is the Daily Mirror, a thin, tedious paper at the best of times. Hey, Google, how long left on timer? Hey, Google, how long's left on the timer?
You've got 10 seconds remaining.
Hey, Google, stop timer.
No problem. Cancelled.
Yeah, no, I got you being sarcastic, C122, H122. Mark Kenosis, remembering Henning Weng's 3 World Cups and 1 World Pope. Mark Kenosis gives the Mirror -1 free £5 bet. Anyway, that's a new personal best. The Mirror done in 2 minutes 20. I don't know if I can bring it lower than that. Slinkermeyer gives the Mirror double negative nice, minus 69.69. Kinyu 92 gives it minus 1966 out of 10. As I mentioned earlier in the show, if you want to actually read more about the history of this fuckery, including the 25th anniversary of the Mirror's notorious Actung Surrender headline, check out the newsletter today, brokenbottleboy.substack.com. I think it's actually a good one. And a relatively quick one to read on your lunch break, or, if you're skiving ahead of the game. Okay, we're going to move on to... Well, actually, no, we're going to do the roll call, then we're going to move on to the Times, which is as bad as usual. Everybody, send good vibes and good luck to our friend Sinan, Sinan, aka SK the Crusader, who has a job interview today. I'm, of course, the Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy, or join the Discord. I'll share the link later in the show. Also, watching and chatting with us today is another TT viewer, Ash Flaps McNulty, Bad Motivator, C122, H122, Dan Jones 3142, Ferrisol, Jane Pickering, Julie Prudes, Kinyu 92, Lady Baskers, Mark Kenosis, Slinkermeyer, Tara writes, Yuan, Zoe brings bacon, and Zoutar. Good to see you all, and the person in the room who's here, but you're usually here, and it's good. The person in the room and a giant dented frame. The frame is not watching. The frame is silently judging. Okay. Right. Boom. Right. Okay. Here we go. Here's the Times. Front page of the Times. England versus Germany. Coverage from and pre-match analysis from Henry Winter and Jose Mourinho. Top of the page. I won't delay end of COVID curbs beyond July 19th, says Sajid Javid, as if it's up to him anyway. Number 10 is making all of those decisions. Another big story for them, they think. Gavin Williamson announced yesterday set out plans for a nationwide classroom ban on mobile phones. Almost every school I know of already does this. It's an absolute distraction. Teachers are saying that, while he still hasn't got a proper plan for what's going to happen in September. The main picture is Prince William trying Iron Brew and pretending to like it. Dan Jones says, oh my god, seriously, fuck this mobile phone shit. It's trying to look tough, cracking down on a problem that schools already deal with the best they can. It's true, they do. It's silly. It's meaningless. It's grandstanding. But what else do you expect from the Some Mothers Do Have Them Education Secretary? And on the right-hand side of the page, why nothing beats a bit of back to get us spending, or bark, whatever way you want to say it. It's based on a very lightweight research paper. Slinkermeyer, cool that our new health secretary can see the future. Yeah, hopefully he'll send me the lottery numbers. Kinyu 92, yeah, it's all going to lead to is kids getting demonized for having a phone in their bag or something. It's pure propaganda. Yep, totally agree. On page 3, there's a suggestion that smartphone and tablet sales should be taxed to fund the arts. It might be a better solution if we just used more of the tax money that that's already taken in to fund the arts, instead of pouring more and more of it into military spending, for instance. On page 5, Jack Draper, who played Novak Djokovic yesterday and beat him in the first set, but then was absolutely taken apart, has they say, won Djokovic's admiration. At the bottom of the page, Bavarian-style beer halls welcome both sides for Euro clash. Bavarian-style beer halls around Britain are gearing up to welcome rival fans to watch today's clash between England and Germany, but levels of support for the two teams are likely to differ widely across the country. Okay. And scientists suggest that smacking children makes their behaviour worse. I could well see that. Quentin Letts is awful, as usual. We're not even going to engage. On page 9, Charles wants pupils to study natural world in a wooden classroom. Prince of Wales has unveiled plans to put an outdoor classroom for children in the grounds of his Scottish home. Fine. What's Prince Andrew been... Never mind. Redacted. On the bottom of that page, two horrific stories that I'm going to skip. One about an acid attack and the other one about what the Times calls... and I shit you not, in the year 2021, a schizophrenic rampage. Talk about a way of further demonizing and stigmatizing people who have serious mental health conditions. Top of the page, on page 10, 6 weeks to cut new mother's stroke risk. Women with high blood pressure and pregnancy have a critical 6-week window to get it down after giving birth and cut the risk of future heart attack or stroke, researchers say. Okay. Terror writes, yeah, fuck that shit from the Times. Is this paper from the 30s? You'd think so, wouldn't you? And this is apparently this is framed as the reasonable, moderate paper of the International News UK stable. Absolute balls. On page 11, cancelling the likes of Wagner is no use to anyone, says Steve Reich. The US composer, in a quote that they've pulled completely context-free from an interview. Ramesh Ranganathan is going to be fronting the new version of The Weakest Link. That was a story that was an exclusive in The Sun yesterday, and The Times has picked it up. On page 12, Dominic Cummings has been mocking the PM over his claims that he sacked Hancock, because he didn't. Mark Kenosis, Steve Reich just needs to shut the fuck up. Agreed. Who's cancelling Wagner? No one's cancelling Wagner. I mean, it's not like it's new. Yeah. Anyway, the Speaker has told MPs and ministers that their offices are free from cameras. Well, I certainly, be dubious about that claim. The report from Eleni Courier in the Batley and Spen by-election carries the headline, "Malcontents of politics stir up voters in Batley." They're getting the excuses in for why Labour is going to get absolutely shellacked. Depressing but not surprising news given how the curriculum is unbalanced and works. GCSE pupils are ignoring women's books is the way the Times phrases it. That's really a poor way of putting it. Better to say the curriculum is poorly designed to encourage pupils to read books by women and people of colour, and also that teachers are letting pupils down because of pressure from schools. It's not, the idea that the pupils are ignoring it. Pupils don't really make that choice, and the fact that the questions about those books don't get answered in the exams is to do with the lack of good resources on those books. There are solutions to that, like make better resources about books that aren't 1984 or Animal Farm or fucking Lord of the Flies or Inspector Calls or Great Gatsby. A pair of gorillas who were bred in zoos have now had a baby in the wild, which is a lovely and nice story, and the gorilla is nice looking. Cute. What do you mean? What?
Alright, Tom Chivers.
Yeah, sorry. That sounded very Tom Chivers. The gorilla is cute. Mark Kenosis also literally had a lecture on Wagner this year that quoted Roger Scruton, so I think he's safe in the academy. Hello, Mr. Gump. Good to see you. Council's raking $1 million a week from drivers after bus lane fines double. Is again weird framing by the Times, but there you go. The police officer who has just been convicted of the manslaughter of Dalian Atkinson lied about previous convictions before he joined West Mercia Police. He was given a final written warning in 2011 after it was discovered that he had lied about previous cautions for theft and being found drunk when he applied to join the Force, and yet they didn't.
He was drunk when he joined.
It's just the way it's written in here, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Heathers the Musical gets a bad review, 2 stars for that. Depictions of alcohol consumption in the media should be more like The Archers and less like James Bond, according to the Reverend Richard Coles, celebrity vicar whose husband died of alcoholic liver disease, aged 43. Writing in the Radio Times, Coles, 59, accused the Bond franchise and dramas such as Narcos of providing a romantic, glamorized, falsified version of alcohol, but he praised a recent storyline in BBC Radio 4 soap opera that depicted a character's slow descent into alcohol abuse. Yes. Alice. Kin United 2, so they're straight on the, he was a criminal to begin with, just a bad apple, not representative bullshit. Bingo. On page 23, William Hague says, Johnson shouldn't duck a proper reshuffle. PM may want to delay changes, but refreshing the talent pool can improve government. See off backbench dissent. What talent? There is no talent in the modern Conservative Party. If there ever was, it is a shallow pool of piss. Right, moving on. Melanie Phillips, who, as we all know, was Anders Breivik's favourite columnist. It was her and Jeremy Clarkson that he loved and mentioned multiple times in his manifesto, writes, Diana is an emblem of our self-absorbed times. What's more contemporary than writing about fucking Princess Diana in the year of our Lord 2021? Giles Corrin is fucking Giles Corrin as ever, but here's the one bit, here's the bit that he writes, projecting himself into the mind of a 1970s comedian. He writes, an app called Tably has just been launched and claims it can read your cat's mood when you point your phone at it. Sounds brilliant. Will it work on my wife? Hugo Rifkin says, don't laugh, we're all on candid cameras now. Of the comment pieces in this paper, this is the one passably decent one. He writes about, the pervasiveness of CCTV and how it's become ever more pervasive and how we used to be bothered about it, but we no longer are. Lord Pearson of Rannoch, giving his address as House of Lords, presuming he doesn't sleep there, says, Sir, your article, Public Support Wolves Return to Balmoral, suggests that the well-meaning public may not have thought this idea through. If you were a deer, which would you prefer? To be shot stone dead by a bullet from a modern rifle, or pulled down by wolves, your entrails torn from you, and to be eaten while you are still alive and are screaming in pain? Wolves. Also, here's my solution to this. Put the wolves in Balmoral. In the building. If the royals want to go there, they have to deal with the wolves in the building. Diana's in the papers too. Hope nothing's happened, says Ash Flats McNulty. Yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, Princess Diana is dead. Markinosis, that was a very one-handed letter. Wolves in Buckingham Palace when? Slinkerman, I am pro-Wolves. I am absolutely pro-Wolves. Okay, and a man called Nigel Gammon writes, Sir, Mike Roberts' letter reminded me of when I was entrusted to sell a house named Thistledome. My client called to advise my office that we were mispronouncing the name of his house, which he said should be read as This'll Do Me. There we go. Okay, in the birthdays today, Marcus Waring is 51. Mickey Arison, the chairman of the cruise operator Carnival, is 72. Adrian Belton, the chairman of the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory, 65. Charlotte Bingham, the novelist and screenwriter, is 79. Gary Busey is still alive, 77. Yeah, Amanda Donoghue, actress, is 59. Charlie Ewells, the rugby union player for Bath in England, is 26. Baroness Shelley Greengross, President and Chief Executive, International Longevity Centre UK, is 86. Well, practicing what she preaches there. Carl Hester, dressage rider, Olympic gold medalist in 2012, is 54. Sir George Howarth, the Labour MP for Knowsley, is 72. Catherine Jenkins, the mezzo-soprano presenter of Songs of Praise, is 41. Fran Kirby, the footballer for Chelsea and the England women's football team, is 28. Veronique Laurie, chief executive of Kingfisher Retail Group, is 56. Seamus McGarvey, The cinematographer known for Atonement, Anna Karenina, and The Greatest Showman is 54. Michael McIntyre, not that one, but the yachtsman and Olympic gold medalist in 1988, is 65. Eric Miska, the Herschel Smith Professor of Molecular Genetics at University of Cambridge, is 50. Anne Sophie Mutter, the violinist, is 58. Giorgio Napolitano, President of Italy until 2015, is 96. Sir Peter Osborne, co-founder in 1967 of Osborne and Little Interior Design Company, is 78. Ian Pace, the drummer of Deep Purple, is 73. David Pittaway, QC, head of the Helsham Chambers until June 2021, is 66. Baroness Usha Prashar, the Deputy Chairwoman of Trustees, British Council until 2018, is 73. Mark Radcliffe, the DJ and BBC Radio 2 presenter, is 63. Nicole Scherzinger, pop singer and in the Pussycat Dolls and presenter and doer of other things, is 43. And Matthew Weiner, the writer and producer, creator of Mad Men and The Romanovs, is 56. On this day in 1916, the Irish nationalist Sir Roger Casement, arrested after landing in Ireland from a German submarine, was convicted of treason and sentenced to death. The last word in this column today goes to Karl Kraus, the Austrian journalist and satirist in Half Truths and One and a Half Truths, 1976. How is the world ruled and led to war? Diplomats lie to journalists and believe these lies when they see them in print.
There's like that bit in See Babies where they read out the birthdays, except you don't have nice pictures.
No. Tweed is born of piss, and to piss it sure returns, says Mark Canosis. Mark Canosis, that Nigel Gammon letter was quite harmless. I bet he stinks of piss, though. SK the Crusader loves to hear from Nigel Gammon. Hello, SK. We wished you good luck for your job interview. Has that happened yet? Dan Jones, 3142, follow back pro Wolves. Mark Canosis, is that true, the former member of Screwdriver comment? Because I did not know that. SK the Crusader, says, it happened, I did too well. How do you do too well? Okay. In the leader columns, pitch battle, England versus Germany isn't what it was, it's better. And of course they quote George Orwell at the start of that, because there is literally no one else. He briefly drummed for Screwdriver in the late 70s. To be fair, he left before they went all Nazi. In the world news, minefield charity threatened by ISIS and NATO's pullout in Afghanistan, apparently. Banning offensive words is no picnic, writes Will Pavia in New York. A list of oppressive words and phrases compiled by a leading US university which question the use of picnic and rule of thumb has come under an unexpected attack from a leading liberal voice, Joyce Carol Oates. Joyce Carol Oates is not a leading liberal voice. What the fuck are you talking about? Who are these idiots? Trump asked aid as mob invaded Capitol. This is all about spinning what actually happened. Brides rebel by dumping feckless men at the altar in India, writes Amrit Dillon. Do that everywhere. I am pro the rebellious brides.
Are you?
What's that? Yes. Kim Jong-un has lost weight, apparently. Residents of the world's most repressive dictatorship, North Korea, have much to weep over. Now, state media are reporting an unexpected cause of tears, the weight loss of the country's leader, Kim Jong-un. Photographs have shown Kim's watch strap has been tightened, and at a concert on 19th of June shows he wore a baggy white shirt and billowing trousers, seemingly calculated to accentuate the reduction in his still portly frame. Our people's hearts ached most when we saw the emaciated looks of the General Secretary of the Workers' Party, unnamed man said on state television. Everyone says their tears are welling up in their eyes naturally. Kim's late father, Kim Jong-il, was often portrayed as a man exhausting himself with hard work on behalf of his people. Really odd, that. Well done to Kim Jong-un for his weight loss. Got to get in shape to cross the CIA puppet state of South Korea. Ferrisol says, follow bride, pro estrangement. Mark Kenosis loves a svelte king. Terry writes, weirdly jingoistic shit. Absolutely. On the front cover of Times 2, Sex, Power and Silent Women. Is Westminster still stuck in the 1980s? I'd go further. It's the 1880s. take a look at Jacob Rees-Mogg. The same picture of Harry Kane that's on a lot of the front pages gets on the front of the Game supplement. Make your own history, it says. And of course, we have to have pictures from 1990, 1996, and 2010. On page 31, today's really underselling the story headline says, Pope's mixed messages over gay rights. The Pope has claimed that a priest working with the gay community is doing God's work, pleasing liberal Catholics, but provoking debate about his true stance after a Vatican decision to ban blessings for homosexual unions. A law professor has suggested that France's food is racist. A video of Mathilde Cohen discussing food whiteness at a seminar organised by the Elite Sciences Po and Nanterre University outside Paris has provoked consternation in France, where cuisine is seen as a cornerstone of the national identity. Look, it's not just here. Other countries are having fuck-witted culture war shit too. Owner of Flintstone House won't be told what to yabba dabba do. Good headline, that, to be fair. A retired newspaper mogul who modelled her home on a Stone Age dwelling of Fred and Wilma Flintstone will be allowed to keep her house complete with its model dinosaurs after a long battle with a planning committee. Florence Fang, scion of a dynasty that owned the San Francisco Examiner, bought her home in Hillsborough, California in 2017 for $2.8 million. Built by the architect William Nicholson in 1976, its bulbous red and purple domed towers with portals that resemble cave entrances has become a local landmark and was known as Flintstone House. Fang said that when she sought to make some improvements, planners said there were neighborhood compatibility issues stemming from the fact that most houses in the area did not resemble locations from the 1960s Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Planning inspector who visited said that the giant dinosaur statues and a sign saying Yabba Dabba Doo would require permits. Fang claimed in court papers that a planner had suggested she could immediately get permits to demolish the famous Flintstone house. Her lawyers wrote, Miss Fang immediately rejected the offer. The town sued her. Fang, who is a Chinese-American, countersued, claiming that she had been discriminated against because of her race. The case has been settled, and Fang, who is in her 80s, has been paid $125,000 to cover legal costs, but not related to any claim for discrimination, according to a statement given to the Palo Alto Daily Post. Teo writes, honestly, France could absolutely find a way to make food say a slur to you. Mark Kanosis, France is into this Islamo-leftism panic, and it argues that post-colonial theory is an American import. Yeah. Kin United 2, someone I know who's involved in all the high society says all the proper Aristo people hate Jacob Rees-Mogg because he's new money. He's just putting on the Aristo costume. This is correct. Also, yeah. His father was a newspaper editor. That's nouveau riche to those people. Use of weapons. I shall just eat this tart to gollywog. Every French man ever. Famous American man Franz Fanon. Other famous American Francois Verges. Right, moving on. In the business, Burberry's 1 billion hit as chief quits. Marco Gobbetti has quit as Burberry's chief executive to go and work for a rival. Who's he gone to work for? Oh, to head Salvatore Ferragamo, a rival in Italy. Crypto sector shrugs its shoulders after Binance crackdown is the claim in the business. Questions for Brewdog boss over property deals. Brewdog's founder under renewed pressure after bullying allegations. Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke. In the obituaries, Richard Ernst, self-styled toolmaker and cellist whose work on NMR spectrometers, won him a Nobel Prize for chemistry. He has died aged 87. His experiments as a boy often led to explosions, frightening his parents. Amazing. And he also... He also led development of MRI technology. Other ones in the obit. Stephanie Sinclair Leismith, free-spirited writer and artistic director who, with her husband, ensured the enduring popularity of The King's Head Theatre, and Jessica Morris, PR executive who founded a pioneering charity after she was diagnosed with glioblastoma, an aggressive form of brain cancer. Ooh. In the sports, David Walsh says of the Tour de France, riders deserve better than this carnage. And on the back page, Southgate switches system for Germans. England to play back three in bid to combat opponent's strength. And Murray returns with epic win. That is the times today. I'm going to give it a -68 because there was a couple of okay animal stories. Jane Pickering gives it the classic 0. And finally, we come to the Daily Mail. Can you unite to France is planning to ban the pain au chocolat soon because it covers up too much of the chocolate. Basically, it's a burqa for chocolate. Mr. Gump gives the Times 68, 68, 68, 68. Only good for the gorilla story. And Mark Kanosis gives it -69 in brackets raciste. And Use of Weapons gives it -England football chance. And Salinka Meyer in with the classic negative nice. Now we come to our final paper of the day, and it's the Daily Mail. Front page of the Daily Mail. Now, come on, England, smash Germany tonight. Jesus Christ. Also, Andy Murray didn't so much win a Wimbledon thriller as make it look hard work against someone who's seeded much lower than him. And of course, the main headline, bring it on, Javid fights for freedom. He fights for fuck all. Inside the paper, Andy Murray's wife has hair. That's a story. Sajid Javid is pictured walking around in shirt sleeves because he's rolled them up, you see. On page 6, as he claims he forced Minister out, now PM tries to rewrite history over Hancock's exit. On page 7, did couple both stay in this hotel at the Oxford Health Summit? That was a claim in The Sun yesterday. Office CCTV was no secret. MP says Minister must be the stupidest man on earth. I mean, he's got to be in the running. On page 9, Greece and Spain battle to spare Brits from EU quarantine crackdown. Eurocrat wants football finals moved from Wembley due to Delta variant. Eurocrat. On pages 10 and 11, Lions date with destiny. 25 million set to watch Germany clash 25 years after Gareth Smith's penalty. Will you ever give it a rest? And they've got various unnecessary pictures of England players, wives and girlfriends. Sajid Javid has never fought for anything except to stop sunglasses sliding off his head. Mark Kanosis there with one of the best lines of the day. On page 13, quick change, Moss's Roman holiday. Just completely unnecessary pictures of Kate Moss's 18-year-old daughter. But she's 18 now, so the Sun can be complete pervs about that. On page 15, Love Island toe-sucking challenge. That's just toe curling. They're pretending to be appalled by Love Island while covering it extensionally. EU sausage war. The worst is over. On page 17, holy smoke, I'm driving the Batmobile from Del Boy's three-wheeler to 007's Aston Martin. Meet the man who owns some of the silver screen's most famous motors. Okay, fine. Richard Littlejohn is awful. His headline, has Boris started to dig his own grave? We can only hope. Christopher Stevens gives Countdown 4 stars out of 5. On page 23, we get more coverage of Ewan McGregor's new child. But of course, the Daily Mail calls that child a love child because we're living still in the 50s. Labour racism row over anti-PM leaflet. Picture with Indian leader sparks dirty tricks claim. There's all sorts of dirty tricks going on there. How to star in your own Toy Story. Ever dreamed of being Mr. Incredible or Disney Princess? A new app turned our writers into Pixar portraits. That is not how Pixar would render Sarah Vine. I tell you that. And also, how have they only just heard about that app? Harry breaks cover and even mentions his brother ahead of Diana tribute is their coverage of that. There's a feature It's a rambling home where they raise 6 children, but now, as the youngest leave, top author Jane Green bids a nostalgic farewell to her family haven and embraces a future fizzing with possibilities. I'm sorry, but I don't give a fuck about a rich person leaving their big house. June 29th, 2021. On this day in 1972, the Daily Mail wrote, Britain's first cinema advertisement for birth control amongst unmarried teenagers is to go on release. Jason Kemp and Erin Garrity, both 17, are shown strolling through woodland to the commentary, it's natural to worry about what might happen if you're not careful. The words contraception and sex are avoided as both are forbidden under the Screen Advertising Code. And on this day, June 29th, 2007, they wrote, they were as loud and opinionated as ever. There was only one moment when the reunited Spice Girls didn't have that much to say yesterday. It was when the Daily Mail suggested they sing a song. Giving their best girl power glare, they refused to take the chance to silence claims their voices are to be digitally enhanced at concerts. Happy birthday to Amanda Donoghue, 59, the Golden Globe winning actress from London, starred in Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, and she gained notoriety for American TV's first lesbian kiss in LA Law, which no doubt the Daily Mail freeze-framed often. Also born on this day, Nicole Russell, Duchess of Bedford, born 1920, died 2012. The French-born TV producer was the third wife of the Duke of Bedford and chatelaine of Woburn Abbey, which she turned into Britain's most popular stately home. And again, also born this day, Mark Radcliffe, 63, Bolton-born DJ, has been on our airways for 40 years. Also collects Rupert Bear annuals since he was 6 and has every one printed since 1950. On June 29th in 1927, the BBC made the first radio broadcast from Wimbledon. In 1966, Britain's first credit card, the Barclaycard, was launched. Quote for the day comes from Bill Watson, who wrote, sometimes I think the surest sign that intelligent life exists elsewhere in the universe is that none of it has tried to contact us. And the joke of the day, I burnt 200 calories before leaving the house this morning. My crumpets got stuck in the toaster. Mark Kenosis, do not make us think of that tweet. Thank you so much. Suki Waterhouse, 29-year-old girlfriend of Robert Pattinson, is apparently wanting to become a pop star. I mean, why not? Front page of the Euros verdict. Pull out. It's time for England ecstasy. Come on, you're just tempting fate there. In good health, can't stop that itch. Why soap sprays or even pajamas could ease eczema. Someone says that yoga banished their nightmares. Rosemary Schrager reveals the pain and fear caused by a common problem and the simple operation that beats it. It's a problem with her eyes. Trying to sell you mattresses, things for cutting the grass, etc. Christopher Stevens for last night's TV rates Susan Cowman's Grand Week by the Sea 4 stars and Devon and Cornwall 4 stars. TV recommendation of the day is Bronte's Britain with Giles Bramreth at 9 p.m. In the cartoons, Garfield and John are just chatting. Chloe and Co. Chloe's not here today. It's two men talking about relationships and their lives and drinking. And in Fred Bassett's having a lie down while he watches his owners do the garden. In the straight to the point letters, Jay Williams of Lisbon says, Lisbon County Antrim.
Lisbon?
Yeah, Lisbon.
Where is it?
Top of those straight to the point letters.
If Boris Johnson was prepared to accept sorry from Matt Hancock for disobeying COVID rules, he should offer all those who paid COVID-related fines the opportunity to apologise and have their fines refunded.
Thank you very much for that guest appearance by person in the room. Michael Tin from SK's neck of the woods in Nottingham says, I wonder how many of those to whom losing to Germany in the Euros this evening would be a catastrophe have a German car parked on their driveway. David Palmer says, can I have more than 30 guests celebrating at a wedding if it's held in a football stadium? S. Hebden turns up quite often, says, what's happening to TV's bargain hunt? I don't want to see grown-ups jumping up and down like overexcited toddlers. C. Vaughan says, I also detest the use of Americanisms such as you guys. The teenage assistant at the butcher's calls me buddy. Adrian Bonington of Northampton says, will a motorcyclist self-identify as a cyclist and win the Tour de France? No, fuck off. Adrian Pettigrew says, dogs should be welcome in hotels. They don't come in drunk at 3 a.m, start a row with the receptionist, or steal the towels.
Oh God, his wife must be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and Stefan Badham says, if TV ads for food high in sugar, fat and salt are banned before 9 p.m, how will kids get obese, high cholesterol, or bad teeth like me? Don't know, mate. Dogs definitely steal tiles. The one joke, yes, the one joke has appeared. Dan Jones, that's literally always been bargain hunt. Jane Pickering says, person in the room looks very nice. Today's recipe is feta and kale loaded sweet potato, which is, I mean, sounds fine. Coins, coins, coins. Yes, inevitably, it's an ad for the Euro 2020 coin, which we've gone over a few times. Coins, 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 coins. Get yourself a summer nightshirt, only £45. No, I'm still waiting for the coin to arrive. I have sent a follow-up email about the absence of the coin. Lots of golden tonties in the chat. Lots of Ged coins. And in the sport, inevitably, it's that same picture of Harry Kane and the headline, Time for Heroes, Kane ready to roar as Gareth tells England to seize the day. Based on his performances so far, I'd be more suspecting that he's yawning in that photo. And Kinnew92 says it's the angry cum face. Use of weapons says Kane is shite for fuck's sake. Mark Gnosis, I want the summer night shirt and a little cap and a candle. I know, 45 quid, Tara writes, for a nightshirt. Right, that is the Daily Mail for today. It's a double negative nice from me, minus 69.69. And that is today's show. Thank you for joining me. Do check out SK's new video. Hopefully he will drop that in the chat. I'm going to just do the roll call now and then the usual links. So, I am the Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter, at Broken Bottle Boy. SK the Crusader has been in the mod squad today. Check out his new video, as I say, and he's got more streams coming this week. Also here today, Alon Mizrahi, hello. Another TT viewer, Antonio Jastrab. Jastrab, yeah. Ashflats McNulty, Aiton, Bad Motivator, Battle Whisk, Commander Roots, Dan Jones 3142, Discord for streamers, Ferrisol, Jane Pickering, Kinnew92, thank you for your contributions today, they've been great. Letty Baskers, Mark Canosis, hilarious as ever. Mr. Gump, Raiden, Slinker Meyer, Tom Toms, Tara Writes, The Royal Flush, Use of Weapons, V&K, Virgo Pros, Yuan, and Zautar have been here. Thank you all for joining me for this Tuesday show. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, potentially after England have absolutely crashed out of the tournament. I mean, I actually don't want that to happen. I just suspect it will. Thank you for the new video link, SK. Here is the link to the Discord, should you wish to contribute to that. On Friday, we will have a magazine special, and if you want to pick what magazine that is, or if you just simply want to help support the show directly, drop some coins into paypal.me/Conquest of the Useless, the newspaper fund that helps keep this show going. All contributions are much appreciated, and do join the Discord. We have some good stuff on there. Cheers all, have a good evening, have a good afternoon, and or good rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. But I'll be around on Twitter and in the Discord as usual if you need me. Until then, bye-bye.